that is called as data distribution pattern also. Don't think table geometrics is something like geometry or something else. So table, that is nothing but we call as data distribution patterns in Azure SQL data warehouse only, not in SQL database or SQL server in virtual machine or on-premise SQL. No, it's only purely in Azure SQL database, Azure SQL data warehouse or Azure Synapse Analytics. That is what. Now we have three types of tables. Whatever the table that you create, either it should come into round robin or either it should come to as distribution, either it should come to replicated. So when you go to replication there, the same data is copied for the multiple times. You can see there two tables. So two tables. So same data is getting copied into multiple compute nodes. So compute node, you know how many compute nodes we were getting based on the based on that performance and storage unit. Leave this duplicated tables will not use. The only things round robin tables and as distribution tables are two types of tables that we need to talk. So what is this? What made you to go for this? Okay, right. Let's go. I'll tell you example. Then we'll go for that. I'll take the SQL server. I'll take Excel here. Go to this Excel. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll take EMP ID, EMP name, and I'll take EMP sal. Then I'll take EMP department number. I have these four columns in one of the table. I'll create this. Don't worry. I'll show you. So I have this four columns. Here I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, something like some. I'll take some 15 people, 15 IDs, 14 here, 15. Now go here. I'll take department number 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, then 10, 20, 30, 40 here. Okay, I have got like this. I have leave about this department name and salary. Leave that I have this. So this is the data that now I'm inserting. Now if I go and create a table, so as we spoke, these are the three table types we have. Replication we don't go because same data is copied into multiple nodes, so duplicate data is getting copied and same data, and cost would be very much high, and storage it also requires high, huge amount of side. So there is replicate would be only or if you take a replication distribution, so if you totally have 2 GB of data, then till there it is good, but beyond, if you go till beyond 2 GB, then you should not go for the replication. Okay, that is one. Now if you go to this, so if you go to the SQL server, I'll go to SQL server we have created. So I'll just refresh this. So for the same logical server we have created SQL database and SQL pool, right? See here. So once I'll go here, I'm just closing this. I'll take two windows. First I'll take SQL, that is demo DB, then SQL. I'll go with demo DB. I'll create table here. I'm just creating a table. EMP ID name some 20, send salary, go with 18 comma 2, department number int. Now run this. You created. Now where is the table created? This table is created in demo DB, not in pool DB. Okay, you have this. Now I'll close this. Okay, I'll write the script. Let me see what is that I wrote. I have not created any cluster. I have not created any primary key. This also. Let's see the script of the table. Okay, so leave this. Now you created table and it is quoted on primary data file. That is what it is telling. On primary means on primary data file. So you have one data file, that is what. Now just leave this. Okay. Now let this window be. Now I'll close this. I'll go to SQL pool. I'm taking new query. Now you can see on the database there you'll have pool DB, not demo DB. Right? You can see here this highlighted one. Now I'll create table. Same table I'll take here. Did I? Yeah. I'll create go create table emp id int name varchar some 20. Okay. Sal decimal sum 18 comma 2 department number int. This is what. Okay. Now I create it. Now try to execute this. Where did I execute? I executed in pool DB. Go there. Okay. You got. You go to this PPT. This is what is created. You can see this, right? What is this color you got? Yellow color. Here also it is showing that. I'll take the script here of this table. I go here, right click, script table as. I'll try to new query, new window. We'll compare that script and this script. What is that happening? Because we have distribution patterns in data warehouse where we won't have. Now I'll just close this one. Okay. Now if you see this, create table, this you know, because in SQL also you'll have the same thing. Create table with distribution pattern. Distribution is called round robin, and by default clustered column store index is getting created by default, right? So here we have three distributions pattern, that is round robin, hash and replication. When you create a table without telling any distribution, so I have not told any distribution by creating a table. I've just told create table name and the columns and data types, that's all. I have not told distribution pattern like this. And I have not told is whether you want to go with a cluster index or cluster column store index or without index. I have not told. But when you create a table, this is what it is getting created with. Distribution pattern is equal to round robin and with column store clustered column store index. This is how it is getting created. Clustered column store index. Okay, right. So now what is this distribution now? What is this distribution? What is this table? So I told you when you create a table, so when you write a select statement, control you use a submits, then it goes to control node, right? This is what I told. Then MPP architecture will come into picture. After that, what happens? It is going to give that query subquery. It is going to divide the query into subqueries. After that, you go into compute node, right? That query is going to go to compute node, and from storage unit, from storage, data is moved to compute node using DMS. This is what till here this is straight away. But here DMS will come into picture. From storage unit, data is given to the control node, compute node. This is what happens. Now, when you go to the when you go to SQL data is not in the table, it is in storage unit. That is what I told you. This is decoupled. This compute node and these are decoupled. These are not. This compute node and this storage unit are decoupled, not that is not interconnected, not coupled. It is decoupled. So there is no compute power is somewhere and data is somewhere. When the user submits the query, massive parallel processing engine is coming into picture and it is taking care of this query distribution and data movement on compute node. Right? This is what. So now I've created table. So I have not told. I'll just told the table to create. Then it has got created. So default distribution is round robin, and default index is clustered column store index. Is what. Now when you say round distribution, when you say round robin, how many distributions we have? If you go to this table, just close this. How many distributions you are getting here? 60 distributions, right? 60. So till year it is 60. Year 30. So 30 into 2, 60. Year 20. 20 into 3, 60. 15. 15 into 3, 15 into 4, 60. So you're getting 60 distributions. So here what happens? You will get D1, like D1, D2, D3, D sorry, D3, D4, D5. Then you have D56, D57, D58, D59, and D60 is the distributions now. So this data is entirely where? This is the format I'm telling you, but data is in your storage. Then how this data is moved to these distributions in case of round robin? You are told round robin, right? Round robin. So how data is moved? So internally there's mechanism built. So round robin is nothing, randomly data is coming. So it will go this, it will take first data, it will put it in here. One, it will come here. It will go to second, it will go here. Second row. It will go to third. This might come to here. Third here. Now it will come to fourth. Again it might go to here. 1 and 4. Like this. It will go to fifth. It will come here 50 here. If you go to 6, then you have 50 here, it will come 6 here. So what happens? Round robin is, so system, there is no process followed as the data come, because data is moving from your storage to compute node. So when compute is node is moved, so for each and every compute node, how many, for compute nodes you have these many distributions, right? For that distributions, this row, whatever the rows that are coming from Azure storage to the compute node, that will be moved to these distributions. This is how it works. So first row might go to distribution 1, second might go to second, third might go to the fifth, fourth might go to again 56, sixth might go to 56 here, fifth might go to D3. Like this, what happens? You don't have control and holding on this data. As the data comes, it will take that DMS which is moving the data. So it will move the data to different compute nodes, distribution nodes. So as the data comes in from storage, it will take that and it will throw into one distribution. This is how it happens. So here you don't have control on data. System will randomly take the data and push it into your store, push it into your distribution. This is how it happens. Okay. So now I want to go for hash distribution. So now I have created. Let me go and create a new table. Okay. See here. Create table emp underscore hash. Okay. See here. ID int name varchar 20 sal decimal 18 comma 2 department India. Okay. With go here distribution is equal to hash. Now I'll tell column distribution hash is equal to, so one of the column I'm mentioning here, but you can mention only one column. You can't mention multiple columns like this. ID something. This will not work. That hash will take only one column, not multiple columns. So we'll take go here. Now go here and try to say clustered column store index. Now try to create your created table. Now go to that. Now try to refresh this table. Okay, you have two similar to this, right? You have got. Now you can see, right? You have created. So now you told as distribution is equal to department. So what happens here? No, these all 10 department rows. Just leave all this. This 10 department, this row and this row this row, okay, and this row, okay, we'll go to this distribution 3. Why? Because you told this department number as distribution, right? This is what you told. So those rows will go to here. Now this department 20 will go to somewhere. Department 30 would go to somewhere here. 30. Department 40 would go to somewhere like this. Now you might like you might have some 6,000 department or 600 departments, 600 or 6 not 10, 10, 20 till 600 you got some 600. So here you have some number 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, so till 600 because 10, so 60 departments are already occupied. Then where will this 610 will go? So it will go and sit in either of one again. It will go here. It will go 10 department. It will go and sit here. It will go and sit here 60 comma 1 610 like this. So here when you go to as distribution, you have control on data and you are dictating that take this also. When you go to random zigzag randomly it is taking one row and throwing into one distribution. But here when you say distribution pattern, that as should be department EMP department number, that particular row will go to that distribution. Okay, so all 10 rows will go and sit here. All 20 rows will go to sit here. All 60 will 30 will go here. Like this you can dictate. Now you have a control. But one of the drawback is you can't have multiple columns in as distribution here. Even you can create clustered index here. Cluster here you create a clustered columns to create. So if you it's not like without index. If you don't say without index, it is create a clustered column store index. But instead of cluster column store, you can create cluster index also. Okay, this is how it happens. So for that reason, I've given that video, that audio, that link. Okay, go to that link and see that then you'll able to get that information what I've told. Okay, they have in a video they have told how the data is getting moved, what is the distribution pattern. The same way they are moving using icons and that audio, so you'll video and audio, so you'll be able to easily understand, right? Right, now let's go. So now till now we might have seen till now, if you go to Azure SQL database or on-premise SQL server, okay, on-premise SQL server or SQL server on virtual machine, you might have seen all this. So when you create a table data is stored in the table. This is how it works. But leave about this database. Come to this pool. If you go to this, see here, you have something external resources called external data sources and external file format. So this data sources file formats are used. So what do you mean by polybase mechanism here? I don't want to insert data into the table, but I want to store the data files into an Azure storage or Azure data lake store. I'll tell you in detail. Just 1 minute. I'm just drinking water. Okay. So what I would like to tell you is You know the storage unit, right? That is Azure storage. Go to this. You have Azure storage and you have Azure Data Lake Store Gen 2. And these, as I told you yesterday, I'm just, you can put either, if you go to Azure storage, you can put a static data. So data is coming in the files, in files. I'll put here because I'm not doing, I just want to copy the data from here to there. So I'll go there. So now what I will do is I'll create an external table, that is polybase mechanism or external table in C, external table. What it does, you need not insert data into the table. When the data is put into the files, you put. So I'll define what I'll do. Let me go and do it. First, now I'll create a storage unit, then you'll get an understanding. I'll do it and tell you. Now go to this storage unit. Okay. Now go to create resource. Okay. So go to this RJFN SQL. I'll create some storage account, some 23022021 something. We should have some unique. So networking, data protection, advanced. Okay, I'm not enabling this. Go there, tags, review. Just click on create. So we have seen that how to create, and you know what, why we are going for that. Let that created. Now it has code created. Not what I'll do. I'll go to this container. You know this, right? Go here. I'm creating a container called development. Now go here. I have some files here. So I'll just show you. So this is the files. Okay. I'll upload these all files. Okay. And the container. All files are same. Okay. Let me upload. Let me go to this path. I'm uploading. So every file is of same structure. Okay. I'm putting as data files and employees. So now I've created this all files here. Okay. You can see this. Go to data files here. We have all this. Now the case is why this is running. So now when you go to this, I have uploaded these files. Now I don't want to copy the data into the table. I can, if I do with the copying, I can go to ETL tool. I have put into a storage unit. I have put the data into storage unit. From there, I want to create a table. This table should point to, see here. In storage unit, I put some files and I have created a Azure SQL data warehouse. Why only Azure SQL? I'll tell you. Why only Azure SQL data warehouse? Now I'll create only schema. What? I'll just say create table, some name, okay, some name here, then columns here, then go with now go with some distribution, okay, some distribution, then location I want to tell Azure storage. I'll give that name. So what if I want to create a table and load this data from these tables, I can go to Azure, I can go and use Azure Data Factory, right? If I want to load, I don't want to do that Azure Data Factory. I don't want to use Azure Data Factory to load this data. I just want to point to that location. Data will should not be in my table. I don't want to get the data into the table. I want using this, I want to point to this using polybase mechanism. Then later, so customer is every day customer will throw some files into the storage. So how I read that creating an external table. So you need to create an external table here. I'll not load into I'll not copy into a table. I'll take this table. This table will point to that location, this pole location. I'll start reading the data. Reading means it will be read only. You'll not able to make any changes on the data. You can't make, you'll not able to update or delete the data. You'll only be able to read the data from there. Okay, let's do. So while doing, I'll tell you what are, and after that, why you require this, we'll see. So my purpose is to read the data from storage, Azure storage or Azure data lake generation 2 using polybase mechanism called external table pointing to that storage unit. After that, I'll get that data into my local local storage that is within the Azure SQL data warehouse. Now it is in other storage that is in external storage. I have created this here. I have created some storage external storage here, but I'm creating a table into a SQL data warehouse. So this is getting point to this, but I'll want to of pointing this table should point to this and read the data. How you are going to read this? There is no connection between this storage and here. There is no connection, but this table has to point to that and read. What you need to do? So that mechanism called as SQL, that is polybase or external table concept. Okay, let's see. So you'll get to understand. Let's go to that example. Okay, go to lab files here. Okay, so 5. I'll just try to open this file. So polybase. Okay, right. So what you need to do to read the data from storage to this table is you need to perform some five steps here. So what are those steps? Is first is go and create a master key. Then next is create a database scope or credential. What is that? I'll tell you. Then next is go and create external data source. Then fourth is create external file format. So because you are reading from the file. Next is create external table. This is all what you need to do it. Okay, this you need to mandatory follow, and the same stepwise you need to follow. You should not tell me no, I'll first go and create external data source then table. No, you can't create because each and every one has its own link. If you want, you can try and see. First I'll go to with master key. Okay, just go. They have given the code here. Okay, I'll just go with this code. So I'm going with the database here. I'll just remove all this. Step 1, master key. I have created a master key. Now go to step 2. What do you need to create? database scope credential, right? Just go there, get this. So what happens here is just take scoped credential. So I'm giving some Azure storage credential as a name, and here is identity. You can give any name. I'll give DP200. Any name you can give for identity to just to identify that. Now you have a secret. So as I told you, to access that storage unit, you need to get some access key or shared token. If you go to this .NET, you need to have connection string, but here you need to have access key, right? So for that storage unit, let me go to that portal, what we have created, this one, right? So go to access keys or share token, whatever you want. I'll go keys. I'm selling key one and try to paste here. Okay, click on create. Now you can see database scope credential is created, right? Database scope credential is created. Now go. Now the second one is data source, right? Step third. Now go there. This is all right. Just go get this here. Don't worry, these are syntax you'll get in the internet in the Microsoft site documentation also. These are the syntax that you need to follow. Okay. So when you create database scope, credential with identity, these all. So this is a predefined structure. You need not worry. These are syntax to create. So now I'm creating external table and that create external data source, name of the data source, and type is Hadoop. So as I already told you that storage system has come from Hadoop environment only. So this type will take two values, either Hadoop or RDBMS. Either of one value it will take. Either it will take Hadoop or RDBMS, because you are talking with the now you are talking with the storage system, so you need to give Hadoop. If you talk with relational database, then you need to go with RDBMS. But we are talking with the storage system, so you need to go with this Hadoop here. And this is VAS, location is VAS BS. What is this VAS BS mean? Okay, so if you go to the location, this one, okay, take this. So this is a container, VAS BS. What is VAS BS? Windows, Azure, storage, blob, service. Windows, storage, Windows Azure, storage, blob service is what VAS BS. Okay. Now come to that. What is this? So what is that location mean? Location equal to container, sorry, not con, VAS BS, right? Container name, you need to give container name at the rate storage account name dot blob dot core dot windows dot net is what you need to give. Okay, you need to replace that values. This is what the syntax is. So data is there, you have a data here. This is called as a container. This is called as a storage account name, right? Take this one. Now we'll replace account to us. So what did we create a container name? We have created a container name called, this is a development, right? Take this development name. Name is development, right? Container name. Now try to go and put here. Now go to your storage account name. Right? This is storage account name, right? This is what you have created. Okay. You're done. Now these credentials, where did this has come? This has come from this second point. This credential has come. I put here in the credentials from the second step. This is from step 2, right? So this is how. Now just go. Now click here. Now you are done, right? Now go to this. Now step 4. So when you're taking the file, you need to tell what file type, what is the column delimiter, row delimiter, first row is header or not. You need to tell, right? So for that purpose, you are going for this. So you are trying to access this content blob and that storage account using this credential that you are created in the second step, and you're referring here, right? Step 4 here. Now go to this. Okay, over the here. Take this. Try to put here. Now you have a delimited text. So every row is a new row and column delimiter, field terminator. Here what you need to do? Here additional row, because our row is so ours is not field delimiter, is not ours. Ours is not a comma delimiter. Ours is, if you go to that storage here, go to container, go here. This is what we have put the files data. So go to here. Ours is pipe delimiter. Right? This is a pipe delimiter, right? Just go and tell pipe delimiter. Okay. Now pipe delimiter, first row, first underscore row is equal to 2. Why first underscore is equal to 2? Because every first row is header, right? So you can't take header. If you want you take, then you need to change the data type of the column, because first row is ID you have, that is varchar. Here you have integer. Okay. Now just see, I have created. Now try to run this. You have created. Now go and create the table now. Last step is step 5. Okay. Step 5. Okay. Now I'll change this table name. You can see this. I'll just change all this. Leave exemp is a table. Now I'll tell how many columns I have here. I have 5 columns, right? I'll tell the 5 columns names. I need to write the structure of the table. I give name some emp id, int emp name, some varchar 20, emp sal, decimal 18 comma 2, emp department number int. Now this, what is data source? This data source that you have created, Azure storage. You are pointing to that. File format, you have created this. But location is not this, because you have told till development only. But in the development you have data files also, right? In the development, if you go there, go to this, go to this. In the development you have data files and employees. This path you need to tell. Till development you have told. Where? Because you are referring to the development container, you have told the storage. But in that development, these folders are there, right? These data files, employees, these two are there. So this path you need to tell. Go to that path, data files, employees. Okay. Now try to create. You're creating an external table. Okay. But not internal table. Huh? We'll see. I'll show you. So this concept has also come from Hadoop, not from Microsoft. Now you create it. Now just see. Now write the select statement. Select start from ext emp. Now try to run this. So it is going to verify your whatever the, you can see that data, right? You got this data. Go to this table now. If you go to this external table, you should find that table here. You got this data table. Go to this external data source. You have. Go to this. You have. You got. So now you are able to read data from. So it is similar like your SQL Server table, right? But the only thing is data is in storage unit. On top of that, you are creating an extension pointing to that location. You have done this. Will you able to insert and delete and update? No, you can insert, but you will not able to do delete and update. Okay, that is one option. Now, if I drop the table, what will happen? Will the data from the storage unit will remove? Only the schema is present here. If you go to this, go here, right click, go to create script table, create onto new window. Only the schema of the table, nothing but table structure is created on the database. If you drop the table, what happens? That script will be removed, but not the table, but not the data. Data will be still in the storage unit. Okay.
So, sorry, Srikanth. Did you say you can insert?
Yeah, you can insert,
Oh, okay.
but
Thank you.
you can not delete and update the data.
Right.
New records can be inserted, but you can't modify the data. Now you see this script is there. Generally, when you go to table, internal table, if you delete the data, data would be deleted. But this is not internal table. This external table pointing to some location here. If you go to Hive, in the Hive also you have HD. In the Hive, HDFS is a storage unit, and there also you have external table pointing to that. Why they have come to this feature is because nowadays data is generating a huge amount of data, and other thing is this external table can point to even semi-structured data also, like JSON, Parquet, all this. So this relational table would only this. If you go to SQL Server and if you go to this SQL Server, that is internal table, that should be have some structured and number of columns predefined one. So at that time, this internal table will not fit. For that reason, they have come to the external table. Now go and drop that table. We'll drop the table and see whether data would be moved or not. Data is still there. Will be there if you drop also. Okay, I'll just go drop table emp of external. Okay, now we have drop external table name. Now go and refresh that table. This table is not there. Schema is not there. But whatever data source you will have, whatever file format you have, and what about the data that you are looking for? Still you have this data files, employees. In this you have text files. You have this data. Okay, still you have this data. Okay, so this is the purpose. Now if you go to this PPT, so there is something called CTAS, right? I think we have seen somewhere. Yeah, this is what. So this external table, you are creating an external table for fact intended sales, and you are creating an internal table here. Fact internal sales is an external table, and you are copying to an internal table here. Just see, I'll create external table, and we have dropped it, right? Let me create and do that CTAS there. Yeah, I'll come to your point. Just hold on 1 minute. I'll come. I'll just do this and tell you whatever the route that you have. Now you created, right? I'll go over that CTAS. I'll take that syntax from there. Take this. Okay. I'll change my account to my requirement. I'll take this external table. I'll put it here. Okay, I'll put this. I'll put here EMP copy. Okay, here I will take the column, department name column. Now try to run this. Okay, you're created. Just go. Now try to refresh that. You got right. This EMP underscore copy table has got. So what is difference between that and this? What made you to go to external table and what made you to copy this data? So one thing is I'm not using in ETL to load the data into the table. Assume this is a staging table. After that with the target table I'll do inserts and updates. That's a different story. But I'm not using any external table. Just see here. Today now I have copied. I have created external table. Tomorrow you run this script. Just you run this. So data would be loaded, right? You'll be able to do it. So this is why you do is this is only for migration purpose. You can't do it for the multiple times. If you go and run like this, na, it will tell already object is already existing here. You can't run for the multiple times. This is how. Okay. So when you are migrating from other system to data warehouse, and instead of using ETL, what they do, they push export the data from other system into a flat file, and they give you. Then you create an external table like this and do this like this. Or else there is other way. So you create an external table and every day you try to insert the data into this table. Now if you go this, now you know you have created. Tomorrow you come and this is for today. This is for today you have done. Tomorrow these all files would go and just you say select start from EMP like this, EMP copy. Now you should able to see the data there you got. So now this is staging table, right? You assume this is staging. Now work with target table, that is EMP employee table. This is also one table. Now do that or whatever you want to do, inserts or updates or delete, you do it. Then later these files would get deleted. New files would come. And again when you write, the old data would not be there because new data has come. When you select that new data would become, again you do inserts and updates here with the target table. So with the single simple select statement would done with all inserts, updates, and copying data, right? Instead of, so here you can do it. So you're creating a table based on CTAS. So this is CTAS, CTAS. So why you go for this is we have other thing, right? Select star into table from table. This is also meant for the copying data from one table to other table, right? Yes, that is right. But if you do like this, if you go like this, you will not table because when you create a table in SQL data warehouse, default distribution is round robin distribution, not hash distribution. Default distribution, we have seen that. So when you do like this, you can do like this also. But you can only do for the one time. If you next time you run like this, it will scold you that table is already present. And you cannot define the distribution that you want, hash distribution you can't define. That is second problem, right? And here you have created one. Every time you call here, whatever the data that is there in this external table, that will be copied to this, and you do inserts and update, that will work. And here you can't define the distribution pattern, and logging is minimized and migration is done very easily. So for that purpose you'll go for this, but those all you can't do it here. Okay, so now you should have. Then what made you to only go for SQL database? Why not in SQL database? So yeah, I'll come to you. I'll give you. I'll take 1 minute and come back to you. So you have external data source, external file formats here. That is in pool DB. Now go to demo DB. You have external table here. I agree. Now come to external resources. Go here. You have only external data sources only, not file formats. But here you have external data sources, external file format. If there is no file format, then how do you define this file format which is required for this external table? This requires, right? This has option file format. If you don't have this file format, external file format here, then how do you tell that into SQL data, Azure SQL database? That is one drawback. That's the reason external table will not work. It works only in Azure. This external table concept works only in Azure SQL data warehouse, on-premise SQL server, and SQL server in virtual machine. If you take on-premise SQL Server or SQL Server virtual machine, that SQL Server software should be from 2016 and above. 2016 and above versions. And this requires a runtime, JRE, Java runtime execution. So this runtime is required to get that polybase mechanism. If you want, I'll just show you. Go there. I'll go to services.msc. Come to this point. Go to this ASC here. You can see here polybase data movement and polybase data movement service and polybase engine. These two. So if at all you go to on-premise SQL Server or SQL Server in virtual machine, you need to have this JVM. Need to be there. If you don't have, you will not able to do it. That is one of the drawback that you have. But in case of PaaS, Microsoft takes care. You do not worry about that. Yeah, we'll come to your question. Tell me, sir, you were asking some question. Yeah. You can add header for the file format. You can do it, sir. The only thing why is if you have that header can have here, if you go to this data, if you go to edit, you have this ID name sal. What I'm telling is when you are reading this file, I want data to be read from second row because first row is the header. That is the reason I told here is first row is equal to 2. Why I have not put that header? I can remove this, then it will read first row. But what I'm trying to tell here, AMP ID is equal to int. But if the first row is containing this ID, right? That is varchar. Then it will fail. Then what you do? You try to remove this row. First row is equal to this one. You remove this. Then you try to change this all into varchar data type. You try to change that. Then it will work, right? Go here. You put here also some 20. It should be all of them should be varchar. Once the data is loaded, then you are aware, right? What will be the header? Then you write a statement saying that select start from EMP where ID is equal to, that is EMP ID not equal to ID. Now you try to do, then you'll get it, right? So those all rows would not coming. The first row would be eliminated. Take from second row, then you convert and push it into your data, whatever table that you wanted. That will work, right? To overcome that problem, I have put this as first row. And if there is a case like you are getting multiple files from one system from other systems, but that all tables has to go into a single that all files has to go to a single table, but few files has got it, few files has not got it, then you need to do that way only. Remove that first row as header, you don't put. You make all the data, all the columns of your table as a data type is varchar. Then you know that what would be the column of that. Then try to do and work. If at all you are getting from multiple systems, from some files would be coming with header, some files would not be coming with header. Then you need to go in that way only. Okay, right. Any doubt here?
Yeah, Shrikant.
Yeah.
Actually, that while we're using this Azure storage, that
Hmm.
and loading that, so it is mandatory for us to create always the external table while loading the data from storage. First time,
No, says here.
internal.
I'll tell you, my friend. I'll tell you. You can copy the data either using ETL tool, or you can go to with ETL tool, or you can go with this external table. What happens in the when you take external table, you need not use ETL tool. Other thing, data would not be in a storage. You would not be in a table. Just you are referring to that location. If you drop that table, also what happens? Data would be in store still in the storage unit. Nothing but you assume like you are. Why do you create a view? Why do you create a view when you have a table? The thing is, you don't want to expose the internal metadata of a table. You rename the column names and give it the user so that he'll be working. The same concept here also. You create an external table here, and table is created. You use it whatever you want. If you drop the table also, data would be still there. But if you don't create external table, you create internal table, you drop the table, data would also be lost. That is a
Okay,
concept there.
okay, but
Okay.
we can create with the internal table also.
You can also do it with using internal table. You can't connect to the storage unit. That you need to
Oh,
make clear.
external only
Okay.
because of the external
Yes.
reason. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
External table can only point to your Azure storage, not
Azure
internal table
storage.
cannot point. Yeah, that is
Okay,
what.
okay. And
Okay.
also can you please see that the first step that why we created the master key? I just missed it. Yeah.
You see, yeah. This is a step. If you don't have so this master key is used to whatever you have created. These all steps would be encrypted. If you don't create master key and do and create this, it will tell you to first create this master key. Then only you start working with the remaining steps. Otherwise, no. I have not. That's the reason I've told the steps that I wrote in the notepad. You need to definitely follow this way. You need to create master key. Then you need to create this. Without creating master key, you want to go to database program. Try out. It will scold you saying that create master key here. Then only you work with this.
So basically, it's for encryption purpose.
This is for encryption your steps all. Another
Okay.
thing is, can you have multiple master keys in a database? No, you can't have. You can have only one master key in the database. Only one master key
For each database, yeah. For
for each
different
database.
database. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. If at all you want to, if there is a master key already created, but you want to create other one, either you drop the first one or don't create the second one. That is one. If you don't create, that is the one is you need to have only one master key. And before doing the remaining steps, you need to mandate to create this first and then follow remaining steps. Okay, this is how.
Okay.
If you okay, right. This is what is your external table. Yeah, I'll just show you some simple example. You just see now. Okay, I'll go. I'm closing all these windows. I'll do one simple example with my local machine and with Azure SQL database. I think I've told here there is some Hadoop. I think somewhere I think I've closed that. While creating, I told that type should be either Hadoop or RDBMS, right? Either of one should be there. Hadoop is only for Azure storage or ADL Gen 1, ADL Gen 2 because of storage unit. But I told RDBMS base should be for relational database. Okay, so let's see. I'll just show you the error. Remaining you need to work because we are running out of the time, and that is not part of our content also. Just for curiosity, I'm just showing you. Connect to this. I think most of the that cross query database works in on-premise SQL Server, SQL Server virtual machine. I'll go here. Database EMPDB. Run this. Yeah, database. Now go here. Department DB. Two I have created. Okay. Now try to refresh this. You have department EMP. Now I'll go to department table. I'll just create table. That's all. I'll not insert any data there. Table, depart, ID, some department number int, and department name. Somewhere I'll not insert any data. I'll just show you. Okay, I've created. I'll just close this. I'm doing it in my local machine. I'm not in server. I'm not in Azure. I'm in local machine. I'll go to EMPDB. Create